The town of Ravenswood was known for its picturesque landscapes and tight-knit community. But it was also known for something far more peculiar, the mysterious carnival that appeared on its outskirts, seemingly at random. The carnival had no name, no set schedule, and no discernible pattern to its appearances. It was whispered that the carnival was not for the faint of heart, for it catered only to those who had experienced great loss or grief. The attractions it offered were said to be a reflection of the deepest fears and regrets of its patrons. Amelia Mitchell, a widow who had lost her husband in a tragic accident, was one such visitor. She had heard the stories about the enigmatic carnival for years, but had never seen it herself. That is until the day she returned to her empty home after a particularly difficult day at work to find a faded ticket resting on her doorstep. The ticket was ornate, adorned with intricate patterns of gold and crimson. In elegant, looping script, it read, "The Forgotten Carnival welcomes you." The sight of it sent shivers down Amelia's spine, and she felt an inexplicable urge to attend. That evening, as twilight cast long shadows over Ravenswood, Amelia followed the mysterious ticket's instructions and made her way to the carnival grounds. The moon hung low in the sky, its silver light revealing a sprawling expanse of tents, rides, and attractions. The moon hung low in the sky, its silver light revealing a sprawling expanse of tents, rides, and attractions. As Amelia approached the entrance, she felt a strange sensation wash over her, a weighty presence that seemed to whisper in her ear. It was as if the carnival itself was aware of her presence, sensing her grief and loss. A tall, imposing figure stood at the entrance, dressed in a crimson and gold uniform adorned with tattered ribbons. He held out his hand, and Amelia handed him the ticket. Without a word, he nodded and gestured for her to enter. The carnival was unlike anything Amelia had ever seen. Twinkling lights cast eerie glows upon rusted rides and dilapidated tents. The air was thick with the scent of cotton candy and popcorn, but it held an undercurrent of something more sinister. Amelia wandered through the carnival, feeling both entranced and uneasy. It was as if the very fabric of reality had shifted, and she was walking through a dreamscape of her own making. Amelia's first stop was the Carousel of Regrets. Its ornate horses were frozen in mid-gallop, their eyes filled with sadness. Each horse bore the name of a regret or lost opportunity, and as Amelia climbed onto one of them, she couldn't help but feel a pang of sorrow. The carousel began to turn slowly, and as it did, memories flooded Amelia's mind. She saw her husband, John, smiling at her the way he used to before the accident. She remembered the fights they'd had, the unspoken words of love that had gone unsaid. As the carousel spun faster, the memories grew more intense. Amelia saw herself making different choices, saying the words she had always wanted to say. But it was all an illusion, a cruel reminder of what could never be. With a jolt, the carousel came to a stop, leaving Amelia breathless and disoriented. She stumbled off the horse, her heart heavy with the weight of her regrets. Amelia moved onto the mirror maze of despair, where distorted reflections of herself danced in the funhouse mirrors. The mirrors showed her every facet of her grief, her anger, her guilt, her loneliness. She navigated the maze, her reflections taunting her at every turn. It was as if the mirrors were alive, mimicking her movements and emotions. She couldn't escape the torment of her own mind. At last, Amelia reached the center of the maze, where a large, cracked mirror stood. In its fractured surface, she saw John, his face filled with forgiveness. Tears welled up in her eyes as she reached out to touch the mirror, but it shattered, leaving her standing alone in the darkness. Amelia's journey through the carnival continued, each attraction dredging up more painful memories and regrets. She wandered into the tunnel of shadows, a long, winding corridor lined with flickering lanterns. As she walked through the tunnel, the shadows on the walls seemed to come alive, taking on the shapes of people she had lost, her parents, her friends, and finally, John. They reached out to her, their hands passing through her as if she were nothing but mist. Amelia was overwhelmed by grief as she relived the pain of each loss. She felt a hand on her shoulder and turned to find the tall figure from the entrance standing beside her. His eyes held a knowing sadness. "Your grief is a heavy burden," he said softly. "But it is a burden you do not have to carry alone." Amelia followed the figure to the Hall of Reflection, a grand tent at the heart of the carnival. Inside, a series of mirrors lined the walls, each reflecting a different moment from her life. As Amelia gazed at the mirrors, she saw moments of joy, love, and happiness. But she also saw moments of pain, loss, and regret. It was a reminder that life was a tapestry of both light and darkness. The tall figure approached her once more. "You have seen your past, and you have felt your regrets," he said. "But it is not enough to dwell on the past. You must also look to the future." With those words, he gestured to a mirror that showed a reflection of Amelia, but it was a reflection of her as she could be happy, content, and at peace. Amelia left the Hall of Reflection with a newfound sense of purpose. The carnival had shown her the depths of her grief and regrets, but it had also shown her that there was hope for healing and growth. As she stepped out of the carnival grounds and back into the moonlit night, she felt a weight lifted from her shoulders. The carnival had given her a chance to confront her past and a glimpse of a brighter future. Amelia knew that her journey was far from over, but she also knew that she was not alone. She carried with her the lessons of the Forgotten Carnival, a place where the shadows of the past could be confronted and the path to healing could begin. And so, Ravenswood remained a town of secrets and mysteries, but it was also a town of resilience and hope. For those who had the courage to confront their grief and regrets, the carnival would always be there, waiting in the shadows, ready to offer a chance at redemption. Amelia couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the carnival than met the eye. The enigmatic figure who had guided her seemed to hold the key to the carnival's secrets, and she was determined to uncover the truth. Days turned into weeks as Amelia researched the history of the Forgotten Carnival. She scoured old newspapers, archives, and even interviewed townsfolk who had experienced the carnival themselves. Each piece of information brought her closer to unraveling the mystery. She discovered that the carnival had first appeared in Ravenswood over a century ago and had been linked to a tragic event, the disappearance of a traveling circus that had passed through town. The circus had been plagued by misfortune, accidents, and scandals, leading many to believe it was cursed. Amelia's investigations led her to a hidden chamber beneath the carnival grounds, a place where relics from the old circus were stored. Among the artifacts, she found a journal written by a woman named Eliza, a member of the circus troupe. Eliza's journal told a haunting tale of the circus's final days in Ravenswood. She wrote of strange occurrences, apparitions, and a pervasive sense of dread that had befallen the troupe. The journal hinted at a malevolent force that had taken root within the circus, one that seemed to feed on the sorrow and grief of its members. Amelia's heart raced as she read Eliza's account of a dark ritual performed in desperation, a ritual meant to bind the malevolent force within the circus's mirrors. It was this ritual that had given rise to the Forgotten Carnival. a purgatory of sorts where lost souls were condemned to confront their regrets. Amelia realized that the tall figure who had guided her through the carnival was none other than the spirit of Eliza herself, a tormented soul bound to the carnival grounds. She had reached out to Amelia, hoping for redemption and release. Determined to free Eliza's spirit and put an end to the carnival's cycle of torment, Amelia returned to the Forgotten Carnival. Armed with knowledge and resolve, she sought out the Hall of Reflection once more. In the hall, Amelia gazed at the mirrors, each reflecting a different moment from her life. But this time, she did not linger on her regrets. Instead, she focused on the mirror that showed her a brighter future, the future she could create for herself. As she did, the mirrors began to shimmer and glow, and the carnival itself seemed to respond. The air grew charged with energy, and the figure of Eliza appeared before her. "You have the power to break the curse," Eliza whispered, her eyes filled with hope. "Confront the malevolent force within the mirrors and set us all free." Amelia nodded, her determination unwavering. With Eliza's guidance, she ventured deep into the carnival's heart, where she faced the malevolent force that had plagued the circus all those years ago. The confrontation with the malevolent force was a battle of wills, a struggle to overcome the darkness that had bound it to the mirrors. Amelia's memories and regrets came to life, taunting her with their weight. But Amelia refused to succumb to despair. She called upon the strength of her love for John, her cherished memories, and her newfound hope for the future. With each step, the malevolent force weakened and the carnival trembled. At last, with a final burst of resolve, Amelia shattered the mirror that held the malevolent force, releasing a wave of energy that reverberated throughout the carnival. The Forgotten Carnival began to crumble, its rides and attractions dissolving into mist. Eliza smiled at Amelia, her spirit finally at peace. "Thank you," she whispered before fading away. The Forgotten Carnival vanished from Ravenswood, leaving behind only memories and a newfound sense of closure for those who had visited. The town, once shrouded in mystery, was now bathed in a different kind of magic, a magic of resilience, hope, and redemption. Amelia, forever changed by her experiences, continued her life in Ravenswood. She found solace in the knowledge that she had broken the curse and freed the souls trapped within the carnival. Over time, Ravenswood transformed into a place of healing and reflection. People from all walks of life came to visit the town, seeking their own path to redemption and closure. The memories of the Forgotten Carnival lived on, a reminder that even in the darkest of places, there was always a glimmer of hope. And so, the town of Ravenswood became a beacon of light, a place where the shadows of the past could be confronted and where the journey toward healing and forgiveness could begin anew. I'm an icon, man. I'm a girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the bed.